Awesome. All right, I'm gonna turn the music off just so I can make sure you all hear me. Can everyone hear me pretty well? Yeah, okay. So since it's like a pretty small group, so I would really encourage you all to participate as much as you want and ask as many questions as you want. That's what I'm here for. We'll probably get through the presentation a lot faster. So feel free to like just unmute yourself, or you can put it in the chat if you have a question. And Annalise, you can pop in if I'm not paying attention to the chat, but I'm pretty good about it. So I would just encourage you all to make sure that you really, really get the most out of this presentation and that you get all of your questions answered.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Briana. We're so happy.
Yeah, of course. I'm grateful and happy to be here and happy to share some of my experience with you and also learn from all of you all as well. Obviously, my name is Briana. I would refer to myself as an energy hygienist. I'm also an herbalist. I'm a dancer. I'm a movement artist. And I'm a yoga teacher. And those are things that, all of those things I've been practicing or cultivating for the past 8 years. And that's been like self-cultivation and a lot of self-work. And then I've also had the privilege of studying with a lot of indigenous American communities and indigenous South American tribes in Peru and in Central American tribes in Mexico. So I'm coming with, and then I've also been able to study some of my own ancestry, which is African, Ute, Cherokee, and European. So I bring their teachings and their knowledge into this space as well and honor them for all of the work that they did before me so that I could be able to present this to you. That I feel like that's good for what I want to say about myself. I also want to take a moment to just honor the lands that I'm tuning in from. So right now I'm in Taos, New Mexico, which was occupied and tended by the Taos Pueblo people and then also the Navajo. And so I just want to honor them and also send gratitude and send prayers to them that they continue to be well and continue to have the resources they need to take care of themselves and maintain their traditions. Let's get right into the presentation now. So we'll start with this quote, which I think is really kind of just encompasses what I'm going to talk about, which is the body's our own ability to heal ourselves. And that's not to say that the Western medical system doesn't have it isn't beneficial. It is beneficial, but there's also a lot more that we can be doing as individuals to help our bodies heal and to maintain wellness. And so the quote is, "The treatment themselves do not cure. They simply restore the body's self-healing abilities." And what you'll see throughout the presentation is I'm just presenting ideas to you. I'm just offering you different practices or techniques that increase your body's ability to heal itself. So if the body is depleted, if it's exhausted, if it's weak, if it's overworked, healing takes longer and it usually takes a little bit more strength to do. And so if the body is really, really strong, healing will happen faster. And maybe we won't need to go to the doctors or we won't need to do that because we've already been maintaining ourselves. So that's what this quote means. And so let's get into it. What is decolonial medicine? So I created this definition. Decolonial medicine is really not a defined system of medicine. It's an ever-changing system of medicine. I'll just go ahead and read the definition that I came up with. for you all, which is decolonial medicine is a perspective that combines traditional, pre-colonial, intuitive, and contemporary medicine. It is not a fixed set of rules due to it being heavily affected by the ever-changing conditions of modern day US. It efforts to support the impacts one endures from living in a contemporary world by using and integrating ancient technology and knowledge into the day-to-day. This way of healing tends to the emotional, the mental, spiritual, and physical bodies, as well as familial, ancestral, and collective patterns and traumas. So that's a pretty loaded definition. And it's like, what does all of that even mean? So if we go back in time, there was a time where we healed each other and ourselves using very simple means. Those means being food, plants, herbal medicine, ritual and ceremony, dance, song. I would say that those are generally what we use to heal. And then as science started to evolve and medicine started to evolve, we started to get further away from that and move more into pharmaceuticals or allopathic medicine, which is great and ends up saving a lot of lives. And I have so much respect for Western medicine. But what we're seeing now is that Western medicine can't address everything. It's not tending to our ancestral and generational trauma as much. It's not tending to the fact that we're living in 2020 and we're living right now during a pandemic. What happens to the body and the system aside from, being sick? It's like we're stressed, we might have anxiety, we might be going through phases of depression, we might feel overwhelmed. And what happens is the Western medical system doesn't fully usually address those issues. Usually they address those issues through a pharmaceutical, just like a pill, or therapy, which therapy I agree is really great. And I think pharmaceuticals can be great in the way that they hold you over, but they may not be addressing the root cause, which is usually a lack of connection, a lack of connection to the self, to the earth, to our family, to our friends, to our community. So decolonial medicine looks to really integrate our past ancient medicines and our way of healing along with Western medicine to work together to make the whole self well, rather than just like one part of the self that's like easing the symptoms. How does that land with people? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thanks for explaining it. Especially just to weigh in quickly, I think I never had a multifaceted perspective on Western medicine. I either thought, oh, maybe it's like evil in certain areas, or it's really important in others, but I never connected it so well as you did, to the past and how it's about healing. Medicine should be about healing this whole self, and that connects to the past and the future. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for that reflection. And, I only came to this realization when I was, healing from addictions in a young age. And what I found was that what Western medicine was offering me, I wasn't enough. I really, really, really needed more. And so that's kind of how my journey started, was like seeking more. I was like, okay, Western medicine's really good at surgeries. They're really good at emergencies, but like this doctor's not telling me how to manage my stress. This doctor's not telling me what to do when I wake up and I feel sad, or what to do when I've had really big conflicts with my family or with my friends. So that's where decolonial medicine comes in, and ancient medicines and ancestral medicines and traditional medicines come in. All right, so let's see what's next. Okay, so we'll start to break down decolonial medicine into some categories. So our first category is decolonial medicine is about having a working relationship with nature and the natural environment. Decolonial medicine fosters a symbiotic relationship with nature and the local landscape. So what does that mean? The nature around you, the environment around you is you. You are breathing in that air, you are walking on those grounds, you are usually consuming some foods from that land or some foods from close by. So you are your environment. It does us a huge service to get to know that environment. Like, do we live in a city? What is the rhythm of the city? How does the city feel? What are some things that I don't love about my environment, or that my environment doesn't nourish me? What are some ways that my environment does nourish me? By knowing that, we can say, okay, so right now I'm needing this type of nourishment. I need grounding. Maybe my environment offers me great grounding just by like going on a walk in my neighborhood or going up into the mountains or going on a trail. You know, that is a way for me to build a relationship with my natural landscape and natural environment. Another way to connect with your natural environment and then heal ourselves is by connecting with the people who tended that land before you. From my background, when we are in right relationship with the land and with the people who tended the land, with like the ancestors or stewards of the land, we are in better relationship with ourselves. We always want to pay honor to the people that came before us. And we're not condoning any violence or any harm that they cause, but we are saying thank you for all of the work that you put into this land for me to be here. So that's that piece. And then I already spoke a little bit to learning the energy of your homeland and learning how your environment nourishes you and then how it depletes you. If I want to talk about how it depletes me, so I've lived in the city before, and I noticed that sometimes for me, the city is too noisy or it's too busy. There's too many people. And so if I'm feeling overstimulated, then I know that I maybe need to not take a walk outside. Maybe I need to go inside, go into my room, make a hot cup of tea, maybe put on some headphones to like drown out the noise of the city. And that is how I nourish myself. So you learn both ways. It's like, okay, if my environment nourishes me in this way, then I go outside. If it depletes me in this way and I'm already feeling depleted, I might go inside. Another way to connect with your natural environment and then therefore heal yourself is by discovering the local medicines of that environment. What are some of the plants that grow around me? Usually you can find a lot via the internet through Google. You can just type in your city and type in, like what plants grow around there. And you'll find a lot of really great information. Another way to tap into that information is going to the local apothecary or going to a local like natural food store. Usually the people that are working in those stores will be able to tell you a lot too, and they will love to share that information with you. And again, when we're learning more about our natural environment, we're in just like better relationship with our environment and things flow. And try it for yourself. For me, it's made such a huge difference on my well-being. And then the other part of that is discovering what foods grow around you. Like, do greens grow here? Do cactuses grow by me? Do I have a lot of fruit trees by me? What is the medicine? What is the food medicine of that area? Again, you can learn a lot of this by going to your natural health food store or Googling it online. When it comes to consuming local herbs and local foods, The closest that, okay, so you see a plant that you want in the ground, you remove the plant from the ground, and then you make medicine with it. That is like the most direct way that you can have a relationship with medicine. The longer that the medicine goes, or the plant or the food goes, before it's in your body, the less vitality it has. So the more local foods and plants that you eat, the more vitality and strength those plants and foods will have. And then therefore, the more you will get from them, the more nutrients you'll get from them. If foods and plants are coming from like all the way across the sea, it doesn't mean that they're not great. They're so great, but they're just going to have less vitality. They're not going to nourish you as much as a food would have that is like right outside your front door. Right. And so we also have to think about like our accessibility. We do the best we can. If we know we have a lot of orange fruits and citrus fruits around us, then maybe we will choose that over the, I don't know, over the kiwi that comes from very, very far away. So that's just an example of that. And then the last part, or not the last part, but the last offering I have around connecting with your local landscape would be your wildlife. Like learning about what kind of birds are around you, learning about, what kind of animals live around you. By doing this, you can better tune into the cycles and the seasons. Like, okay, I remember this bird was around here last winter, so that must mean we're moving into the winter season. So it also gives you clues and just helps you tune into the cycles of nature. And it's just really nice to know what's around you. You feel empowered. You feel really educated and really informed. And knowledge, of course, is power. So does anyone have any questions around the natural landscape and the environment and how that helps with healing and just feeling better and living better? Okay, awesome. So I figured that it would be nice to just go into some really, really gentle plants that you all can work with that may not necessarily grow in your environment, but that you can easily find at the store. And I'll go a little bit more into how to pay for herbs, because I know that finances are a thing. So I'll go into that a little bit in the next slide. But let's look at some of these gentle plant allies. So lavender and rosemary, I'm sure maybe you all have heard of these plants before. They have some similar properties, which is why I put them together. They can be great for memory, clarity. They can be sedatives, which means that they relax you and they kind of put you into a more calm state. They calm your nervous system. And then they've also been known as antidepressants. So if you can't find fresh lavender or fresh rosemary, you can just buy, or you can find essential oils. There's some great companies out there that have really, really affordable essential oils, or you could team up with a friend and buy an essential oil and put a drop or two in olive oil so that it's diluted and so that it lasts a little bit longer and so that you can share it. So this is a great essential oils, and lavender and rosemary in general are just great tools if you're like, need to study for something, if it's been a long day and you just need to like wipe your slate clear, or again, if you're feeling a little bit groggy and like you don't feel like doing anything in the morning, just having a little lavender essential oil and rubbing it in your hands and just smelling it can be really a great signal to the nervous system, like, all right, we can do this, like, let's go. So that's a great plant. And next we have peppermint, which is also pretty pretty common. So peppermint is an antispasmodic, which means it smooths muscle contractions. So when you, for example, I say that it supports gas and nausea. When we have gas, usually it's like our body is trying to digest something and it can't. So what peppermint does is our body's like this and peppermint goes like that. It kind of just like helps your muscles relax a little bit. So you can rub that on your neck when you're feeling tense. You can have it, drink a tea of peppermint when you have gas or nausea. Um, it's very, very cooling to the nervous system. So it kind of lets everything just like go. Um, Especially when there's like excess heat. Peppermint can also have this ability when you're angry or have a lot of like, yeah, when you're really agitated or frustrated and you just need to calm down, maybe after like a protest or after just a really challenging interaction, peppermint would be a great go-to. Peppermint can also be revitalizing in the way that so first it would like cool your system, cool your energy, and then you can move forward from a more clear place rather than moving forward from a really like agitated and constricted place. So again, you can drink a peppermint tea, you can do peppermint essential oils, you can grow a little peppermint plant and have the leaves. There's a lot of options. Calendula. This is a really, really beautiful plant. It's one of my favorites. It's an anti-inflammatory. Inflammation is usually caused by stress to the body. So stress can be from a challenging interaction, overstimulation, foods that don't agree with you, like sugar, or a lot of times dairy can do that for people. So what calendula is going to do is it's going to calm that stress response, and it's going to reverse that inflammation that happens when we are stressed. Calendula is also really great for wound healing. So when you have like a wound on your body, you'll see it a lot in for like diaper rash. So it's great for rashes. You'll see it a lot for just healing scars. You'll see it a lot in those salves and lotions and oils. Lastly, the energetics for calendula are going to actually be around grief. And I'm sure you can see that this is a very like vibrant plant. It's like bright orange and yellow. It's beautiful. And it really elevates the soul or the spirit when the spirit is feeling down and it's feeling fatigued. Grief can be from, of course, losing someone we love, or it can just also be from any type of failure, like if I didn't do well in my presentation, or if I didn't get a good grade or something, I might feel some grief from it. Or, an outcome happened that I didn't want, it was what I would call a negative outcome. I can feel grief from that. And then calendula is going to be one of those plants that just lifts our spirit. Again, you can drink it in tea. You can just have it in a vase on your nightstand when you know that you're moving through grief. Again, yeah, you can work with like a lotion or a salve, even if you're not healing a wound, just the vibration of the plant will affect you. All right, rose. This is a wild rose plant. Rose grows a lot of places and it's generally pretty easy to find. But rose is going to be heart medicine, which I think that we need all the time. Whenever the heart is heavy, whenever the heart is like cold and constricted and hard, whenever the heart is even, you can think about heart rate when the heart is overstimulated, when it's had too much, or maybe it's receiving too much energy or too much impact from the world around it. Rose is a great medicine for all of that. And it works physically, like physically, it strengthens and tones your heart muscles. And then energetically, it is such a great balm for any type of issues around the heart. Rose is also great as an astringent. It's a tonic, like I said. So a lot of times you'll see rose is really, really great for the skin, to tone the skin, to revitalize the skin. And then rose is also an antiseptic. So meaning it's really, really great at cleansing. You can use rose in an essential oil, in a salve or a lotion. Of course, you can buy roses from the store and just have them by your bedside or on your table, on your altar, on your desk. Yeah, but rose is really, really great for the heart. Okay, next. So the last plant we'll go to is dandelion. Dandelion grows everywhere, and usually the saying is that plants that grow in abundance are plants that we need. So dandelion is most known for cleansing. It cleanses the liver. So whenever we eat foods or drink liquids that our body are considered like toxins or hard for our body, so like alcohol, sugar, really, really processed foods, foods with a lot of additives, that's going through our liver for our liver to process. Our liver gets overwhelmed when we're eating a lot of those foods that are hard on us. When the liver is overwhelmed, then it starts to affect other parts of our body. It can result in depression, it can result in anxiety, it can result in a lot of like acne or blemishes on the skin. A lot happens when the liver is not doing well. And so dandelion is one of these plants that can keep gently cleansing our liver. If we know that we're like eating a lot of sugar and just not eating foods or drinking liquids that are great for us, dandelion is going to be a great ally. It's also anti-inflammatory, so it's going to be great for when we're feeling stressed out for whatever reason. It's going to calm that stress response. I also find dandelion to be really grounding. Just drinking a dandelion tea. I mean, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but like dandelion, their roots go so deep into the earth, right? And so if we think about the energy of that, dandelion is carrying a lot of grounding energy because literally its roots are so deep into the ground. Its roots are pulling up all the nutrients, all the vitamins, all the minerals from our earth, and then we're consuming that. So dandelion, again, is a great, great, great plant ally for gentle cleansing and grounding. And while we're here, before I move to the next slide, just general ideas around food is, number one, listen to your body. Listening to, how do I know if something is causing my body stress? Does it make you super fatigued? Does it make you super hyper? Does it make it hard for you to think or form thoughts? Does the food make you really bloated? Usually when you're super bloated, it means it's hard for your body to digest it. Those are just some key things that you can kind of look for after you eat something to know if it's right for you. Aside from all the fad diets, like the best diet that you can have is listening to your body. So I just wanted to throw that out there because I talked about local foods, and I know foods can be a challenging thing to understand. Like, how do I eat foods that will heal my body and be good for my body? It's by listening to your body after you eat them. Like, I know for me, I have the response of I get really congested if I'm eating a food that's not great for me. So hopefully that helps. All right, let me just check the time. Okay. All right, so decolonial medicine. allows space for simple, accessible means like breath, courage, and presence to be catalysts for transformation. So obviously in the healthcare system, one of the biggest issues that we have is accessibility, which is why I'm giving you this presentation. I'm trying to offer you all accessible means to heal yourself and to just maintain the health that you have so you don't need to, so you won't need to go to a doctor. So you won't need to turn to Western medicine. And I really, really just want to make it really clear that there are so many ways to heal your body and there are so many ways to make an impact that have nothing to do with buying anything or going to the store. You have all of these things in your house already. So let's go over some of those. The first one is going to be cleaning and clearing. I know this probably, it sounds weird, but like really just having a clean space. So if that's your room or even just your bed or your desk, whatever you can clean is going to make a huge impact on your system. Whenever there's clutter or just like a lot of filth or dirt, usually our nervous system doesn't feel like there's as much space to be creative, to relax, to, you know, even love ourselves, right? So cleansing and cleaning is going to be one of those number one ways to take care of yourself and to heal. Getting organized whenever you feel like, okay, I have a big project coming up or I have like a long to-do list, cleaning the night before can make that to-do list actually feel possible. So cleaning is a big one. It's also, we can also go a little bit into personal hygiene. So what does it mean to have a clean body? I'm not saying like shampoo your hair and wash your body every day, but when you feel good about yourself, when you feel like you smell good, when you feel like you look good, generally you're going to be more healthy and people are going to respond to that healthiness and that wellness that you're emanating. So hopefully that makes sense. As far as clearing, it goes with cleaning too. Whenever I experience something that's really traumatic or challenging, or even just had a long day, I always clean my space and I clear my space. Clearing can happen through smudging. It can also happen through just speaking affirmations into your space. Clearing can happen through like opening the window and again, having this affirmation of like, whatever is like in this space or around me that's no longer serving me, I ask it to kindly go out the window. A lot of people work with tools like cedar or like Palo Santo or incense and burn those. Those are really, really great for clearing because really all this is just like a plant that has, like Palo Santo has great like antimicrobial properties. So it's not just energetically clearing your air, it's actually physically clearing any toxins and particles floating around in the air. So that can be a great tool as well. And you don't need to like smoke everything out. And of course, like make sure that you're going to be able to be around as long as it's lit and that everyone that lives with you is okay with it too. But great, great, great tool. The next accessible means for healing is communication, talking about what's going on with you. Obviously, you want to talk to somebody who you trust and who you feel okay being vulnerable around. And it takes time to figure that out, but just talking things out is great energy work. Before we do any type of energy or healing work in the traditions that I come from, we talk about the issue. We say, okay, what's the issue? And there's so much that happens just in letting things out and being like, wow, yeah, that situation that happened last week really, really affected me. So find those people that you can trust and that you can be vulnerable around and that you can kind of be like communication buddies with and know that that is energy work and that's also going to heal you. The more that we keep inside and on our heart, the heavier our heart gets. And then all of these other health problems come from that. So I hope that each of you find those people or have those people that you can really be honest with. The next accessible means for healing is music and song. This is an interesting one because right now there are a lot of music. There's a lot of music that is so fun and it bumps, but it's not that healthy for our system. Like, or maybe it's healthy sometimes, but not all the time. If I'm already feeling overwhelmed or sad or angry or off, like, you know, trying to find music that is going to nourish my body and bring it like back to balance rather than like exacerbate something or make me feel even worse. So just making sure that we're choosing what sounds we let into our bodies and into ourselves, because our bodies remember that, and our bodies do digest sound really, really well. Like you put on a good song sometimes and it's like, it just makes your day so much better. So just keeping that in mind when we're at times where we need healing, or just keeping it in mind every day to give ourselves those really high vibe songs and music. The next one is going to be breath work. Breath work is a really, really great tool because I can do breath work when I'm sitting in a huge group of people. That's why it's awesome to me. So I'll teach you all just a really, really, really quick and simple exercise. I learned this from a tradition of yoga called Kundalini yoga. And it's really, really calming to the nervous system. Sometimes I'll do it even before bed. But if I'm in like a really chaotic space and I just need to like come back to my center because I feel myself like getting weak, if I need to be strong, I'll go to this breathwork practice. And so all you'll do is you can leave your eyes open or have them closed. It depends on you and where you are and where you're comfortable with. Make sure that you're in a safe place if you are closing your eyes. But you'll just inhale and touch the index finger and the thumb, the middle and the thumb, the ring and the thumb, and then the pinky and the thumb. And then you'll exhale and go back through. So pinky, ring, middle, pointer finger. So I'll do it 2 times with you. So we'll inhale, exhale, and one more, inhale, and exhale. And it can just, that one, just like 2 inhales and exhales can be so relaxing and like just send signals to your nervous system and your body like, we're okay, we got this. And then to be able to like touch your fingers while you're doing it, and touching each finger with just a lot of love and appreciation that you have hands and fingers, because not everybody does, can do a lot, can tell your body a lot. The next means would be movement and yoga. We are in a time where you can find so much online, so many yoga classes on YouTube and qigong movement classes on YouTube. So I would just encourage you to find the courage to find ones that work for you, and don't get discouraged when you find a teacher that's like totally not in alignment, or like you're just like, what are they even saying? I don't like their language. Like, don't get discouraged. Keep trying. That's all I'll say about that. And then that goes for meditation as well. Meditation has a lot of stigmas around it. So does yoga, obviously. And these traditions, you know, every single civilization had a form of these, but India has been so gracious with these teachings. And so it does take some work to find teachers who are really deeply connected to the tradition, and then weed out the teachers who are not. And so for there, I would just say use your intuition. If it doesn't feel good, like if it feels icky, you should probably not do it. You should probably find another teacher. If you just feel resistant to it and you're like, ugh, I don't want to do this, that's different. That's like our mind. That's not it being, it's not an issue as much with the teacher. So I would just encourage you to explore YouTube and just find those practices that work well for you and that feel nourishing for you. Does anyone have any questions so far? Okay. All right, I'll just keep going. So the next one is going to be around different ways to, like, if you are, say you are going to an herbal medicine practitioner, or you want a massage, or you want to start receiving therapy, or if you want anything like that, there are ways to exchange with practitioners outside of money. So one of those ways first is by identifying what your gifts are. So am I good at cleaning? Am I good at cooking? Am I good at listening? Am I good at, taking care of children? Do I have a lot of time and I can just like be in service and do whatever? A lot of times you can exchange those things for healing, with those practitioners. So you can exchange like, oh yeah, I'll like, make a meal for somebody, for a massage therapist. In exchange, she'll give me, or he'll, or they'll give me a massage, right? So there's different ways to exchange, which is also a part of decolonial medicine that you don't see as much of in Western medicine. Decolonial medicine really strives to honor each person's individual gifts, and how can we each like give our gifts and receive gifts in a way that feels like good and reciprocal and easy and honorable. And it is possible. The next thing I want to speak to is how are you exchanging with nature, with community, with your elders, with your ancestors, and with your body? It's a little bit, it's a little bit meta to look at it, but like exchanging with nature, like how am I giving back to the environment around me? Am I planting, flowers or trees, or maybe if I don't have a lot of like nature around me, like how am I, giving thanks to my natural environment? It could even just be like, stepping outside and greeting the sun and saying, oh, thank you so much. Like, this feels so good. I'm so thank you for warming my day. Like, we literally would be dead if it weren't for the sun rising. So just keeping that in mind. And I find that when we do give thanks to the environment around us, and then we receive more from the environment around us. And it seems like things just kind of come to us. It brings more abundance. How are you exchanging with your community? I know many of you are probably already doing this, but like, being in service, like how can I serve the people around me and make sure that they're taken care of? When we take care of people, they take care of us, right? Elders, how are we maintaining the traditions of the elders around us? They don't even have to be in our family. They could be, elders in our community, or elders any elder, right? But like literally just listening to them, spending time with them, receiving their knowledge and their life experience can be a great way to exchange with them and to honor like all the life that they lived. So I hope that that makes sense. Honoring your ancestors, like I said in the beginning, like honoring the people who came before us, right? So that they can back us up. Yeah, that's all I'll say about that one. Honoring our bodies. How do I talk to my body? How do I feed my body? How do I nourish my body? Am I giving my body what I want? Which comes back to what I was talking about earlier with like really listening to our bodies. What does my body want? Does it really want ice cream at like midnight? When I know that I'm going to ask it to do even more work early in the morning? Probably not. It probably wants something different. So taking a deeper look at how we're exchanging with our body, what we're giving, and then what we're asking of it, and being more fair with it. Acknowledging what you can give. And I've already been talking about this, but you can give affirmation to the environment around it, affirmation to your friends. Maybe I can't go to this, you know, meeting or this event with people, but what I can do is, you know, send a text message to the people that are organizing and saying, I hope things go really well for you. You know, like something as simple as that can be seen as a prayer for that person to succeed. What you can give is an altar. Giving via the means of an altar really just means an altar is a place for sacred things. It can be a place for things that you're trying to call into your life. It can be a place to honor the things that you really appreciate and feel grateful for. And it's just sending messages out to the universe that's saying, yes, thank you, or like, please, I need this. So, you know, maybe if there's water issues around you with people receiving clean water, or if you're feeling really devastated about somebody not getting clean water somewhere else, maybe you put a little glass of water on your altar and that's it. You just have your table and you have your glass of water and you say, I really, really hope that more people have access to clean drinking water because it's such an important part of being well and living on this earth. You know, as simple as that, and see what that does, to do that every day or every couple of days, at least once a week, to have really clear intentions about like what you're calling in and what you're grateful for on this planet. And then lastly, we have offerings. Offerings also can be in the way, like I said, an offering can be a text message. Like, I hope things go well for you today. I'm thinking about you. Thank you for being such a great friend or being such a great mentor. That is an offering. An offering can also mean, you know, picking flowers or picking some type of picking plants out for somebody and then giving them to them, or you know, going to your favorite place in nature and just like spending time there, just giving thanks to that natural environment. It can be taking something that you love, like maybe it's like a bracelet, or it's a rock that you've held on to, or it's a shell that you got from the ocean, and giving it to a friend, or giving it to a mentor, or giving it to nature, just giving it back to the earth and saying, you know, I really appreciate you, and this is something that means a lot to me, and I'm going to give it up because of how much, you know, the nature or Mother Earth or the sky or whatever has given to you. So those are just some examples. You know, take what you need and leave what you don't. Any questions about that? Okay. So this is just an example of an altar. You can have a candle there. They have some flowers on theirs and then some pictures, but it can be super simple. Also, it can be super complex, whatever your style is. All right. So decolonial medicine allows a lot of space for inner knowing. It really, really values inner knowing. And what that means is that your body knows. Your body has held all the memories it's held since you were born, since you, even before you were born, since you were in the womb. Our body holds all of that. And so it knows what feels good and what doesn't feel good, right? And so what this part of decolonial medicine is about is like listening to your body, learning how it talks to you. Maybe it talks to me through like, for me, it's fatigue. I know that I'm giving too much. I know that I'm not well and I need to take better care of myself when I'm tired, when I need to take a nap. So learning that signal of like, okay, I'm tired, and then listening to it and giving it what it needs. The more we push ourselves past our edge, past our boundaries, past what we're capable of giving, the more health issues that come after that. So I would really, really just encourage you to, as much time as you can, tuning into the different parts of your body and really learning how it speaks to you. And that can happen during meditation in the morning. You can just find time to sit in a chair, set a timer for 5 minutes, and literally just do a body scan from head to toe. Like, what is going on with my body? Okay, I feel my shoulders are a little tight. Okay, maybe I can stretch a little bit sometime today. Okay, I feel my stomach is a little bit bloated from last night. I think it was having trouble digesting what I ate. Okay, how can I change that? You know, just doing a little body scan and using that information to better feed and nourish and heal your body. And then the last part of this is sacred boundaries. So now that we know what our body can and can't do, what feels good and what doesn't feel good, we have to learn how to honor that. And honoring that is by sometimes saying no and being like, oh, I can't actually do that today. I don't have any more space in my schedule for that because I really need space in my schedule for me. Or I can go, but I'm only going to go for 2 hours. Or I can do this thing, but I can only take on this role. I can't take on that role. Or a sacred boundary is being like, oh, I'm not going to eat this whole bag of Skittles because my body is telling me don't. My body is telling me, okay, I can have a couple, but when I eat the whole bag, my body is like, oh, why'd you do that? It's so upset. So that's also having sacred boundaries with ourselves. With our friends, with our community, and it's not a bad thing. Those boundaries are going to help you be able to give more fully. You can't give if your cup is empty, right? So this slide is probably one of the most important ones. All right, our last slide, what time is it? Perfect. Our last slide is around it takes time to heal. And this is something that, everything that I'm offering, like I've said, is not against the Western medical system. It's to work alongside it. And, everything, should always be talked about with a healthcare practitioner, with somebody who's licensed, with somebody you trust. But Western medicine does work great in emergencies. And when you have an emergency, please do go to a doctor. When something is causing you so much pain, please do go to the doctor. All the tools that are offered are things that we should be doing daily in the meantime, in between time. There's also a perspective that I want to offer alongside all of this is that it really does take time to repattern. It really does take time to be healthy and to be well. It takes a lot of listening to ourselves. It takes a lot of like, I'm going to sit down with this meal and I'm going to take 15 to 20 to 30 minutes to eat these foods. It's like, I know that I am depleted and I'm going to need several days of resting and of napping and of baths and of good foods to be able to feel good again. So decolonial medicine honors time, honors that healing takes time and that wellness takes time. And like I said, like decolonial medicine works with gentle medicines. It doesn't work with a pharmaceutical. A pharmaceutical is going to get in there and clear that symptom fast. Decolonial medicine is going to try to get to the root cause. Why is that happening? That's happening because I'm giving too much. Okay. And then how do I learn how to not give too much and how to take better care of myself? That's a difference, right? Decolonial medicine works with sustainable lifestyle changes. So like I'm going to not get on my phone first thing in the morning. And sometimes I'm going to forget, but like that is my goal. I'm going to, wake up, not get on my phone first thing in the morning, go to my altar, set my affirmation for the day, eat a really, really good breakfast before I do anything, just taking care of my needs and my wants and giving thanks. Obviously, like I'm saying, repetition, doing things daily, doing things weekly, doing things monthly. And then rest, of course. Rest is how our body restores. So much happens during sleep time and dream time. And it's really, really, really important to give our bodies as much of that as they need. And some bodies need more of it than others, and that's okay. But it's beautiful to do nothing. And then this last slide is just a list of all of these things that decolonial medicine is, right? So I'll just keep that slide up, and I know that we are out of time now. So if anyone has any questions, please do unmute yourself. I know it's a lot of information. So, and I'm happy to, I think this is recorded. I'm happy to send you a PDF that has some of this on it. But yeah, I'm here for any questions that you all have.
In case, you can feel free, whoever wants to put your questions in the chat or comments. But thank you so much, Briana. I just wanted to say I learned so much, and what a journey you've been on, and you've come to be able to deliver all of these gifts to us is so amazing.